Uh, Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We-On-Loc Nation here. Just going through and was looking through some things. Um, and by God, there's a lot going on right now. The U.S. There's a Supreme Court arguing right now. Uh, Early voting going on. There's a lot going on. So if you're in your city, whatever city and state that you're in, it's possible you don't go to early voting and vote for your district, whether it be senator, mayor, governor, or whatever the case may be. If you want to vote for the right people this time, please do so. As far as Jasmine is concerned, we are still pushing, and we are pushing as far as we can go. I had called both districts. I called her district in Washington and her district or her offices rather, her office in Washington and her office in Dallas, both busy. So I'm going to continue to call and continue to raise. I'm going to continue to raise some. I guess you can call it excitement. I guess you can, because it is exciting. It definitely is exciting. So obviously,
joining us now is Amy Howe. She's SCOTUS blog co-founder and a reporter at right outside the Supreme Court. Good morning.
Yeah, there was a lot going on today. U.S. Supreme Court oral or U.S. Supreme Court oral argument on legitimately wait legally of Donald Trump's tariffs. Still talking about them damn tariffs. Still talking about them tariffs. Them tariffs is killing the country, killing the farmers, killing pretty much everybody. And people want to argue back and forth about how good it truly is to have tariffs. When although the rest of the countries can just say no, pull up a middle finger and say we'll just stick to our own stuff and try to keep it clean today. But Jasmine was on today. Jasmine was on looking good as she can look. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Now I have a question. Who is this woman that is losing so much? Oh, I forgot where it. Oh boy, hold on. Who is this woman that people keep referring me to? This is a black woman, but she's a Republican, and Trump it's so bad that Trump wouldn't select her. Trump wouldn't support her or whatever. Who is this woman? I've never heard of her. I've never heard of this particular woman. If anybody knows, please let me know. Please let me know. If I knock into it, if I knock into it, I'll. Hold on. Give me 1 second here. Give me 1 second. Yeah, who is this woman? Who is this woman who's a Republican and she is basically losing real bad. I forgot what her name was. Maybe if I go to Reese Waters, she would know. He would know. Excuse me. Support the channel. Support. I am I'm not feeling too well today, but when I seen this, I just thought I'd just go to it and see what she's talking about. Oh.
That Donald Trump has pushed, and I am excited. I am excellent. I am believing in the power of the people and their resilience on tonight, whether we look at Virginia, which when you start to talk about this redistricting scheme, or attempting to rig the next election for the midterms, because we know that the policies that Donald Trump has pushed and all House Republicans and Senate Republicans have signed on to, that have allowed us to be in this place in which economic harm is being felt by all, unless you are the top 1%ers, where we know families are being torn apart. If you tend to be maybe a little bit darker, it's so refreshing to see the people pushing back. And so while the president plays with AI videos and decides to dump poop on the people have decided that they're going to poop all over him. And so I fully anticipate we're going to have a great night with Proposition 50 here in California. We know that in Virginia, which it was a shock.
Did y'all see that stupid AI that he did when he was on the fighter jet? He was on the fighter jet pilot plane, and he was releasing all over the people from the No Kings rally. Yeah, I mean, we gonna do the exact same thing. Only this time, we gonna have to jar open his mouth a little bit. Open your mouth wide and say, "Ah, Mr. Trump."
About 2 weeks ago or so, maybe not even 2 weeks, they announced that they would actually enter the arms race and try to pick up some Democratic seats, with them obviously expecting to have a strong and good night. And so far, Virginia has. So hopefully after California passes Prop 50, and after we see New Jersey, and after we see hopefully the retention of judges in Pennsylvania, and as we see 2 new statewide elections that were won in Georgia, in places that haven't elected anyone statewide, and I think they said 25 years outside of the federal level, I think that the people are expressing that they are fed up, and it's not even been a year.
Congresswoman, you talked about redistricting and talking about voters being fed up. There's been talk about you throwing your hat in the race to run for U.S. Senate in Texas in this midterm election. What is your response to the filing deadline is a month away?
It is looming. But if you remember, and I think you probably will, I was basically the last person to enter the race for Texas 30. But once I got in, I was in, and we ran hard, and we were able to pull off a win in that primary. And so right now, I think that it is important for me to really get a pulse of the people. I think that we do have an opportunity, but number one, Kim Paxton has to be the nominee. That's That's just what it is. We need Kim Paxton to be the nominee. We know the National Republicans estimate that it will cost them approximately $250 million to win this election if Kim Paxton is the nominee. And so one of the reasons that I want to hold off a bit is, number one, I want to see if the trend continues to hold, that he may most likely be the nominee. Number two, I think that if we continue with the same electorate that we've had for the last 30 years in Texas, that we probably should expect the same result. I think that we've got to do something different. We've got to be able to expand the electorate. And so we are about to be testing in a very different way. We just went through some things and we're going back and forth with the team that we have that's going to be doing that. But we're trying to see, can we really expand the electorate? And the final point that I'll make is that typically in Texas, we've had amazing candidates. And I honestly have nothing bad to say about any of the candidates that are running for U.S. Senate right now. But what we typically do is we spend $100 million just so that people can learn their name. And basically they end up spending all their time on the phones, raising money, and then running ads just where they're getting to kind of know people's names. What I've seen in the polling is that my name ID is super high, considering the fact that I've never run statewide in the state of Texas. So by the time we start, I just don't really feel like we'll be kind of at home base and up to bat, but instead we'll already be on second base and we'll be able to kind of move into the next phase of the election and really start to prosecute the case. And knowing that Donald Trump is at the helm, and that whether you're from rural Texas or urban Texas, you are feeling pain alike, whether it has to do with the farmers, and therefore they are losing, or a number of them are filing bankruptcy as relates to their farms, or whether we're talking about the people that need that food on their tables. Everyone is hurting, or whether we're talking about healthcare and the fact that in rural Texas, we know that a lot of those healthcare facilities are going to potentially be shutting down because they just won't be able to sustain themselves, or whether we're talking about urban Texans who cannot afford the cost of health insurance anymore. It is time for us to point out what brings us together instead of focusing on what separates us. And I think right now, no matter if you identify as a Democrat, Republican, or independent, you just want somebody who will fight back against what's going wrong. And right now, I think it is very clear, especially with the election results that we're seeing today, that the one thing for sure that is going wrong is Donald Trump. And the one person that absolutely has a record for always being willing to call out Donald Trump and fight back is me. Well, at the same time, I must be honest. If John Cornyn is the Republican nominee, it makes it very interesting. Most people don't know that Cornyn and I work together quite often on bills. We've done stuff around food security. We've done stuff around fentanyl. We've done actually a lot of legislation together. Now, Ted Cruz and I don't work together hardly on anything, but me and John Cornyn actually work together. So it would be an interesting dynamic if it's the two of us, and then it would be a really interesting dynamic if it's Paxton.
Congresswoman Casey.
All right. Well, you heard it first. I am not feeling 100% today. So if I feel a little sluggish, please forgive me. I've taken some Advil, taken some Advil for whatever I'm suffering through. But nevertheless, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be interesting. And you heard it here first. I think she would make a great candidate as well. I absolutely understand that. But all of us in general would agree. I would agree as well. It just needs to be pushed, and it needs to be taken seriously, especially when you're going for early voting this year, whenever it is, because I might do some earlier voting. But other than that, 2028, whether she becomes the, part of the U.S. Senate, or president of the United States, which I'm definitely still pushing for. Whether people like it, people like it, love it, hate it, whatever the case may be, I'm still pushing for it. I think she is qualified to run the world. And people often say, well, what about the men who are candidates? I don't know, to be perfectly honest. I don't know who is strong enough. I don't know who will be suitable enough to run the office, especially when it comes to Black people in this country. I don't know or recognize any name that will hint of doing something, especially for Black folks in this country. It is time for the the soft shoeing to cease. All the soft shoeing, or all the softness, the fabric softener has got to go. Even though I love putting fabric softener in the dryer, because it basically it Febrezes my clothes. But when it comes to these Democrats, and I am not a Democrat nor a Republican, I am an independent, and I see Jasmine as something more than a Democrat, because she hinted at it. She's hinted at it several times. Let's see. It was some early voting. I believe, this week. I'm not sure. I guess I'm gonna have to go to a different source here. While you're waiting, like, share, subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And on a side note, Officer Tatum looking kind of bad. You looking kind of bad, bro. Looking kind of bad. I don't feel sorry for you. Yes. Just act like this is a license, right? This is some scissors. Your license has been stripped. But good luck with them white folks. I hear you that you're going after Marjorie Taylor Greene. What's your beef with Marjorie Taylor Greene, sir? Sir, but good luck with that. Here's my brother. Let's see.
Yeah, he was on.
Let's see here. I got you.
CNN projects that Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani, the Democratic candidate, will be elected the next mayor of New York, New York.
Oh, New York got a new city mayor. A Muslim, I might add. Doesn't Donald Trump hate Muslims? Ooh, you got yourselves a Muslim. Those who are in the New York area, y'all got yourselves a damn Muslim.
Defeating former New York governor turned independent Andrew Cuomo and Republican Curtis Sliwa. Mamdani's victory marking an historic moment in the city. At the age of 34, he will be the city's youngest mayor in a century. He will also be New York City's very first Muslim mayor.
So there was consolidation here. I think it's noteworthy as well. In our exit poll, we asked folks if it was just a two-person race, Cuomo versus Mamdani, and it was basically dead even in our exit poll there. So if you're the Cuomo campaign, you're seeing this consolidation. One thing you're probably thinking of is, geez, hey, they got Eric Adams, the incumbent mayor, to drop out and get behind Cuomo. What if they could have actually gotten Curtis Sliwa out of this race? So again, I just think, maybe there was no circumstance that Curtis Sliwa was going to drop out of this race. I know there was a lot of pressure on him from folks to do that. Maybe there was no circumstance, but I think if you're Cuomo and you're looking at this, boy, that one might haunt you a little bit. If there was any...
Sears. I think it was Sears. Wasn't it Sears that everybody was jarring at me about? I think it was that woman. I don't know a damn thing about this woman. But she's better than Jasmine Crockett. If that's the case, then how come she lost to Spangberger, or whatever her name is? But let me continue.
Way you could have pulled it off, any more gestures you could have made or something, because a two-way race here, we had a lot of evidence here, would have been a barn burner.
Laura Ingraham won't slap him. Laura Ingraham won't slap him when he get the fight. Laura Ingraham, she gonna slap that raspberry beret.
Oh no!
She gonna slap that raspberry beret off your head. She is. She gonna slap that raspberry beret off his head. You can get another one. That's the kind you find at a secondhand store.
But the optimism is
Really? We gonna go there with Prince? Really?
here. And to the point of how does Cuomo speak to the remarks that Mondani makes about him and what Mondani says he will provide for this city in terms of free buses, freezing the rent, and free universal child care. The words from Cuomo are, and this is his words, quoting, he calls it BS. And he has been campaigning, telling voters that that's not something that a mayor can do, that you need a state legislature in order to make any of these kinds of things come true.
Okay, let's play this game. Because the pushback to Mamdani.
Criminal counts of felony. The Supreme Court has essentially authorized through their rulings his ability to commit crimes in office. And so we know
strength it fears, not the appeasement it craves. After all, if anyone can show a nation betrayed by Donald Trump how to defeat him, it is the city that gave rise to him. And if there is any way to terrify a despot, it is by dismantling the very conditions that allowed him to accumulate power.
You ain't gonna see that. She got wrong.
Hold on. I need to find this woman. Is this the woman you're talking about?
years later, your electric bill is up and they call it freedom. 4 years later, they're taking your children's scholarships and giving it to biological males, and they call it freedom.
Wisdom upstairs. We freeing you from this campaign. Yeah, they called the race. Why are you crying? Call it freedom! Call it freedom! Oh, New Jersey?
The twist in this county and why I think it's so important is Morris County is what Mikey Sherrill represents in.
Wait a minute. That's who you wanted me to vote. That's who you wanted me to vote for? That woman? Nah, bro. Nah. You remember I don't know if some of you have remembered, I did a live stream a couple of, I think I did a live stream a couple of weeks back about Preacher Boy and his disdained criticism for Jasmine Crockett, the way that she speaks, how ghetto she spoke. Well, I decided to look this lady's name up, Spears. I decided to look her up. When I get a feel for people, I get a feel for them. And it's like yay or nay. This woman, and that's just to be respectful. That's just be respectful because again, I don't know what her deal is. I don't know not a damn thing about this crazy ass woman. Let me go back. Wyndham Earl Sears, excuse me. Wyndham Earl Sears. I don't know anything about Wyndham Earl Sears other than she supposedly, allegedly wet the bed with Donald Trump. Donald Trump did not pick her for some odd strange reason. I know why now. And that's the only time I will ever credit Trump this is not how you run. This is not how you run for governor. This is not how you run for governor. I'm sorry. I mean, no disrespect to him, but hey, but that's not the point. The point is you got these conservatives who proclaim that once again that Jasmine is so ghetto, and so. But I mean, but literally, she's raising money. She is raising money and she is raising eyeballs and she is getting, especially from us and especially from people in her district and other districts and possibly from around the world in very small sizes and very small bits and sizes. It's like she's getting popular real fast, and this is one of the reasons why Donald Trump hates her so much. Well, he hates pretty much every woman. Let's just put that out there. He hates every woman. But you would prefer a yes man. You would prefer a yes woman. That's what you would prefer. You would prefer, like I said, the cotton wig type, the cotton wigs and the robes and the attitudes of the cotton wigs and how they speak proper English. And then there's the fourth, fifth, and sixth amendment and therefore and all this other stuff. When Jasmine Crockett will definitely get in your ass and want to be like, if you don't get the hell up out my face, that's the type of attitude that we need, right? A little bit of that and a little bit and a whole lot of truth and a whole lot of substance. Because that's what people need nowadays is substance. They don't need excuses. They need results. And I believe out of all the people that I've seen in her so far, she would give results. She will give results. I don't know how the rest of the world would feel. I don't know how the rest of the world would feel. Nor do I care. We-On-Loc / Jasmine Crockett / we don't care. We just do not care. Yeah, let me get this. You just gotta look. Just look for yourself. Just look. This is what you want?
And giving it to biological males, and they call it freedom.
Mr. Earl Sears, we freeing you from this campaign. Yeah, they called the race.
And they call it 4 years later, they're taking your pro children scholarships and giving it to biological jails, and they call it freedom.
Wisdom upstairs. We freeing you from this campaign. Yeah, they called the race. Why are you crying? Call it freedom!
Freedom, yeah, freedom from your black ass. Freedom. I don't know if you ever was like, who you voting for? None of the above. I think that was Brewster's Millions. If y'all never seen Brewster's Millions, please go see rent it out. I think you can download it online somewhere for free. Brewster's Millions was pretty funny. Brewster's Millions was basically, had Richard Pryor and it had the late great Richard Pryor, the late great John Candy. And I guess he ended up getting some money or whatever, but he couldn't spend it the way he wanted to spend it. The deal was that he had to spend it responsibly and not irresponsibly, right? He can hire people, he can do stuff corporately, but he couldn't buy anything like outside of that. He couldn't buy nice cars, nice clothes, because it had no value in it. And if he did, he wouldn't get the, I think it was like $100 million or something like that. And he had, I believe he had either 24 or 48 hours. Now, in 24 or 48 hours, you cannot spend anything that doesn't create any value. You can't spend it on hookers. You can't spend it on booze. You can't spend it on drugs. You can't spend it on shoes, tennis shoes. You can hire people. You can hire people for certain things and so on and so forth. But it's a good movie. It's a good comedy movie. Good comedy. Good comedy movie. So early voting went on. Let me go back to this.
Stiegel here. As you know, there are 17 agenda items on the ballot in Texas, constitutional amendments, and it looks as the early information is coming in that all of these are passing quite easily. What do you make of that?
You know what? I will tell you that we've seen record turnout. It looks like at least higher than anticipated turnout so far when I've looked at what's taking place in Dallas County. I'm going to be honest. I don't know how well-versed people were on all of the constitutional amendments, but what it seems like I am sensing in general is that people do not want to miss an opportunity to show up to a ballot, even if they're not fully versed. And sometimes with those constitutional amendments, as someone who came from the state house, the way that they ultimately phrase them, everything always sounds so good. It just does, right? But without having the benefit of talking to, maybe some state reps and finding out kind of the backstory and kind of the potential, some would call them unintended consequences, and some would say the intended consequences of some of these things, we'll see. But I don't know that there was a lot of campaigning around any of these amendments in the state of Texas. And I think a lot of people were just like, they said there's an election. We're really upset with what's going on. Let's make sure we don't miss the election.
Congresswoman, it's Sean Rabb, my friend. Good to see you. Let me ask you about your power and your influence. You endorsed in Texas 18, I believe, and not only in Texas, but
just for the record, doesn't Jasmine look stunning? Doesn't Jasmine look incredibly gorgeous? Oh my, oh me, oh my.
Around the country, Congress.
And you wouldn't vote for that?
When your voice, your influence has been weighing in on candidates. You talk about expanding. Is this one of the expansions to find the kind of candidates you talk about would not continue to be the quote unquote traditional party?
A little bit, but more so just I think that people trust my judgment. I don't think people look at me as just your everyday politician.
Of course not.
And they trust me to be authentic with them. And so when I said that, you know, in Texas 18, there were 16 candidates. And a lot of people were like, there's 16 people. And some of them didn't know any of the people, right? But this is a historic seat. I obviously had a relationship with Sheila Jackson Lee. I also had a relationship with Sylvester Turner. And so I saw the people that they interacted with. I saw kind of the way that they felt like they needed to represent for Texas 18. And I know multiple people in this race, you know, and I made it clear to people all around as I was down in Houston campaigning on behalf of Christian Menifee. And I said, it's not really about like who I know the best or who I like the best or anything like that. It's about who I feel like is best for this position in this moment based on everything that I know. And I just couldn't think.
Her name has to be up there. If you feel that her name should be next in line, please give a thumbs up. If her name should be next in line, please give a thumbs up.
Think of a better candidate than Christian Menifee. And I felt like it was important, especially since this is such a historic district. And right now, as we know, Section 2 is under attack as it relates to the Voting Rights Act, as the Supreme Court is going to decide whether or not, you know, basically the last pillar of the Voting Rights Act will stand. I do think it's important holding a Section 2 seat out of Dallas County, that if I had any strong opinions, that I weigh in. And people have actually said stuff about the fact that that made their decision easy. I remember when Christian first decided to run, I actually tried to convince him not to run. That's a whole other story. But he immediately wanted my endorsement and he knew that he would get it. But I told him we've got to be strategic. And I said, it is hard for me to gauge how people feel about me all over. I'm a data-driven person. And when you run down the rabbit hole of X, I seem like the demon spawn, right? But then you may go over to TikTok or Instagram and it's different, right? So I'm like, I don't know what's real. And, you know, as I've traveled the country as a member, you know, we've had conversations with allied countries about the concerns of those that aren't friendly to our country, that have engaged in the bot farms. And they really have done a very good job of driving people to kind of these hateful kind of corners, right? And so it is hard for people to know what's real and what's not. So I said, before you put me, because of how high my profile is, and I know that certain news outlets love to just run hateful things about me, you need to test and make sure that I won't hurt you in your district. And when he got the numbers back from the polling, he's like, nope, my district absolutely loves you. I was like, all right, well, let's go. Let's get it. And it was fun. I love this. It's not the first time I've been down to Houston to campaign for a candidate. You know, usually by the time I get in, I see something very special in that candidate, whether it's a state house race, whether it's a mayoral.
I think I know what she was referring to, because she interviewed this person before. I'm gonna have to see in a minute.
I've actually been helping out some places more silently than others, but I'm really excited for tonight and what it means for America, and I think that we are going to continue this trend. I also know that once the Democrats start to get into power, whether it's state power, city power, county power, or federal power, we have to deliver. I think the one lesson we should have learned is that it's not good enough to have the best ideas. We've got to actually deliver on those ideas. And we've got to be just as aggressive to do good for the people as the Republicans have been doing bad to people. So I am looking for aggressive folk to.
I think I know who she was preferring. I think I know this guy. I think I know who he is, because they interviewed before. Let me see. let me see. Before I forget, thank you people for, believing in my judgment. This is something that this would completely have me turn the corner. Not saying that I'm deviating from the whole Umar content, which I'm totally not. I'm just taking a break. But thank you for all the support. Thank you for all the. Thank you for everything. It's words is I can't even describe it in words how this is very appreciative, and I do this for a hobby. You know what I mean? Versus people who do this daily, every single day, or 3 or 4 days out the week. I just do this 2, possibly maybe 3 days out the week. This is very, very exciting, and Lisa was right. I was on the verge of quitting. I'm on the verge of doing something else due to the fact that I don't want to have to hear all this stuff about relationships, and that was the final straw for me. The final straw for me was just black men and black women arguing over, how men are weak and women are dominant, or how women are, just won't hold themselves account. It's the same argument for the last, what? I can't, it's probably a decade. It's probably a decade of the same argument. I mean, both of y'all are getting bad. Men and women, y'all just bad. You're just wondering why this marriages are gone down. Relationships has gone down. But screwing has gone up. I mean, let's just face it. Men want sex as much as women. So the arguing and still going on to this day. I just can't listen to these same people anymore. And it wasn't nothing for me. But then I ended up turning this. He's like, well, what about this? I'm gonna do this. And I was like, I do like how Jasmine handles herself, and especially in Congress, and how she holds people accountable, and how she handles the business. Right. But let me stop rambling here. I gotta get ready for work this coming afternoon. Lord knows I don't want to go. But as bad as I feel right now, you gotta go to work, bud. Gotta go to work. Yeah, but I remember her, I think it was. Yep, that's who she was. Yep, there it is. Here it is. Yep, this is the guy. Okay.
Getting real crazy.
So I was right. Because she was. I guess he's from the Houston district or something. Christian McAfee. If you're in that city, if you're in that side of town, he's running up for whatever he's running up for. Let's see what he's. Yeah, this is the guy. This is the guy right here that Jasmine was interviewing. I have it on mute.
So angels around us to get it done.
Right.
Okay. So Well, for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, Texas 30. But I am sitting here with someone who is absolutely fucking amazing, but also my friend. And that is the next congressman from Texas, Texas 18, County Attorney Christian Menifee. Everybody clap it up. Whoop, 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 whoop. Or how do you do the thing, Zach? How do you do the thing? Okay. All
Clock
right.
it.
So, but we are sitting here in Christian.
No, we won't be doing that. We won't be clocking anything, Jasmine. That's the one thing that I hate. How y'all come up with all these ad-libs and all this other shit? But anyway.
And I just want to have a quick chat. Tell me about the campaign. Tell me how it's going. How are people feeling on the ground? And then let's talk about why in the hell you would want to come to this hellscape. We're currently in a government shutdown.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's definitely a lot. But first of all, Congresswoman, just thank you so much for the opportunity to come on and chat with you tonight. You know, I'm running for Congress because it was a thoughtful, compassionate, helpful government that gave me my first shot at the American dream. When I was growing up, there were many nights I would not have eaten were it not for WIC in our household. There were many days I would have been at school on an empty stomach were it not for free lunch in our public schools. My parents would have never purchased their first home were it not for VA down payment assistance that allowed them when I was in high school to put just $500 down, and that's how we got our first house. Would have never went to college without a Pell Grant, and my brother almost certainly would have died from childhood cancer were it not for my parents' military health benefits that fully funded his bone marrow transplant, and he's been in remission for more than 20 years. So at every single step of the way, it was a thoughtful, helpful, compassionate government, and that's how you get somebody like me who went from a family that sent more people to prison than to college to me being the youngest person and the first African-American Harris County attorney. But look, the short of it is Trump and Republicans in Congress are trying to tear all that down. They're cutting SNAP benefits, they're cutting Medicaid, they're cutting Pell Grants. They're trying to pull the ladder off from folks who are trying to get fair access to their shot at the American dream. So, you know, I'm going up there to fight the same way that I fought back here in Texas, and to make sure that you got somebody in a foxhole with you when you're going to battle with Trump and MAGA Republicans.
Yes, and just so y'all know, I trust Christian wholly and fully to be in this fight. But let's talk about kind of.
Okay, so that's the young man that she was interviewing. That's cool. That's cool. We want young new blood. As a matter of fact, I should be looking into the man personally myself. It wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt not a ton. I mean, I don't people in my district just looks old, slow, and just whatever. But I think we need some young new blood here in Vegas also. Here in the state of Nevada, in the state of Nevada, period. We need youngsters. But Jasmine, with this one, with Christian, this was a good interview. I suggest you watch it. This was a good interview. If you haven't watched it, it was wonderful and wonderful to see. And with that being said, it wasn't much going on. It wasn't much going on this week, but early voting, and like I said, people were going on and on about Mrs. Shears, and I'm like, Shear is losing. Shear is losing, and number one, she can't keep a straight face. Number two, that last little display of "This is for the people. This is for the people." We ain't going. We-On-Loc / Jasmine Crockett / we do not care. T-shirts coming up pretty soon. Merch coming up real soon. We-On-Loc / Jasmine Crockett / We Do Not Care. It's going to be off of this. I'm trying to put this off of this website and or this page or whatever. And yeah, we're gonna keep the train rolling for U.S. Senate right now. This is not. Oh, I forgot what districts he. His district is 18. What is her district? 19? 20? I'm not so sure. Forgive me. Like I said, I'm sporting a real bad headache, a real bad sinus headache. I didn't even go into work yesterday. All right, let's get it.
You mentioned a number of things that allowed and afforded you to be the amazing human that you are today, such as WIC and SNAP benefits. And right now we're in a government shutdown. And I just did a teletown hall yesterday where I talked about the fact that WIC is still going for now, but probably about November 1st is where things may start to dry up. Same thing with SNAP benefits.
People are still getting their SNAP benefits. People are still getting their SNAP benefits. It's just certain states are going to be releasing the funds, which won't be much because all that shit dries up in a week. And it's only going to be, I mean, I don't know if they're going to be releasing half of the benefits, or they're going to releasing full of the benefits to certain states. I'm not sure. But either way, other states are not going to get their benefits, which is sickening. I had just spoken with my cousin today, or yesterday rather, and she is on food stamps. She is on food stamps benefits, and she is disabled. She will not be getting benefits. So Trump is cutting off people. It's not just cutting off people who really need it, but cutting off people who absolutely deserve it, and the disabled, and people who can't really take care of themselves. They have to have a roommate. They have to have a special a caregiver, and you're taking benefits away from these people. It is very, very sad and very upsetting. However, raise holy hell. That's all I would say. Just raise holy hell. Let this man know that, me personally, if it was me, I'd probably spit in the man's face. So it's good that he's in this position. Hey, Don. It is good that Trump is in this position. Otherwise, if he was anywhere near me, I would spit in the man's face. Not only disrespecting Black history, but appointing somebody who is unfit and unworthy of the education system. You're rich, and anybody who is rich, wealthy, they don't deserve shit. But then again, this is a capitalist society, and these are the people that he appoints. He appoints people that never mind the education, never mind people who have been in certain positions for years and years and have worked diligently to be in these specific positions, whether it be, mayor, governor, or whatever the case may be, you're gonna fire these people who are worthy at their job to a person that. Let me ask you a question. If Donald Trump fired you and you're a professional, and let's say flying Spirit Airlines, I'm just gonna go there. Let's just say it is either Spirit, Delta, American, Blue Jet, doesn't matter. If you were a pilot and you had years and years of experience and they fired you for some no-name, fired you for a rookie, wouldn't that make you nervous? I've been like, nah, I'll wait. If it takes several hours, I'll wait. I have no problem. I'll just plug up my telephone. I'll just plug up my phone, get some snacks. Nope. Because we all know what happened the last time. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I truly remember. Why would you hire a rookie? Yes, man. You're hiring yes, man. We need to get younger, and we need to get the Christian D. Menafeed. I don't want to butcher his name. He's young, African American, and 36 years of age. Young African American, 36 years of age, representing his district in Houston, Texas. I think it's District 18. God is silent. So yes, I will be looking to him pretty diligently. I will be looking into him. I will be looking in to see how he is in Congress if they start opening things back up again. Like Mike, you suck. Mike, you truly suck. You truly suck. But this is what people who they vote. This is who he appoints. Yes, man.
But, talk to me about how you look at something like the fact that we're most likely going to see a decrease in SNAP benefits just in general because of the big ugly bill when those cuts finally hit in hundreds of millions of dollars. And compare and contrast that to what you see going on with the president deciding that we should send now not 20 billion but 40 billion dollars to Argentina, and give me an idea of kind of where you see foreign policy. And you are a lawyer just like I am, and when you're in law school, they always tell you always are taught to argue both sides of the argument, right? And a lot of things that happen in DC right now, I'm like, ain't no other side, right? But definitely right now, the Republicans are trying to find that other side of the argument as to why it seems like MAGA now stands for Make Argentina Great Again, because somehow they are going to get $40 billion from us, potentially, if they elect the right person, while American families are losing their health care, American families are losing their ability to eat, American families are losing jobs. Talk to me about, like, from a foreign affairs standpoint, what would it look like to kind of engage in foreign policy for you? And then with that, what types of committees would you be looking to actually serve on once elected to Congress?
These programs like SNAP benefits and Medicaid and WIC, they help so many families across our communities. In the 18th Congressional District, we have the largest concentration of SNAP beneficiaries of any district in the state of Texas. And I think back to my old family when we were at the grocery store, and I would run to the back and grab the Lucky Charms and come back, and my mom was like, "Nah, you don't get Lucky Charms on whip, right? You got to go get the old school cornflakes." But there are so many folks who that's how food gets in their bellies, right? Medicaid, Medicare is how they ensure that they're getting the health care that they need. And right now we see that the Republican Party is more intent on spending dollars in the largest transfer of wealth in modern American history, helping billionaires be more richer and helping large corporations with their corporate tax loopholes, instead of pouring that money directly into the communities, the people who need it most. It's funny, I was campaigning the other night and I was at an event, and somebody asked me about balancing the budget. And it was somebody who I could tell was kind of to my right. And so many times when we talk about balancing the budget, the conversation is always centered around the social safety net, right? It's centered around the pennies on the dollar that we're given to folks in our communities to just try to pull themselves up and do.
While I'm playing this, like, share, subscribe to the channel, like, share, subscribe to the channel, and support Jasmine, We-On-Loc Nation / Jasmine Crockett / We Do Not Care. Let's put "We Do Not Care" in the chat. We do not care.
Better so that the next generation, their family, can do better. But we never want to talk about things like sending $20 billion or $40 billion to Argentina. We never want to talk about things like inefficiencies in the military. We never want to talk about the massive waste across the Trump administration. And instead, they're cutting the EPA by 60% and eliminating the Environmental Justice Office that is within the EPA. My approach at this is simple. If you want to have a conversation about balancing the budget, cool, let's do that. But if your conversation is centered around trying to hurt working people, trying to hurt folks who try and lift themselves up, and trying to empower Venezuela, or trying to empower the military, or trying to empower inefficient agencies, then you're not trying to have a serious conversation about balancing the budget. You're just trying to have a conversation about making sure that real life human beings don't reap the benefit of our tax dollars. And I've been honest this entire time in this campaign, I'm running for Congress to help working people. I'm running for Congress to help the people who grew up in the same neighborhoods that I was in, who was in apartment complexes, right? Who was trying to string together some coins to be able to go get some money, some ice cream from the ice cream truck. Like that's why I'm running for Congress. I didn't run for Congress to help billionaires. I didn't run for Congress to help large corporations. And I think that's something that the Democratic Party has to get back to. There used to be a time in this country where you could work 40 hours a week. You could get the house, the 2 cars, send your kid off to do better, retire at a reasonable age. But right now we have people working multiple jobs, still not making ends meet. They don't have any money to have a good time. And if something happens to their health, it can set them back multiple years. I'm running to restore the middle class and to make it so that we don't live in a country where the average income since the late 70s has gone up 18% for workers, but it's gone up 1,800% for the rich class. I want a middle class that can be built out where people have the opportunity to thrive in this country.
Do they know the rule of thumb when it comes to power, wealth, and influence in this country? Is that white folks do not care about how you feel. Technically, when you are a Republican, and you're just doing just as bad as we are as normal citizens, they don't care for you either. Especially when you're not making over 7 figures, which 7 or 8 figures is which Donald Trump is a very good supporter of people who are very much in that high category. 6 figures. People think nowadays that 6 figures is going to get them somewhere. I mean, it might get you somewhere, but guess what? You're still constantly working. And if something were to happen, it's like, oh, good Lord. Well, we got this emergency. You better have an emergency fund. You definitely better have an emergency fund. Money and power is all they care about. You better have an emergency fund. Otherwise, you're gonna be going. This is why we say it's better under two incomes. Believe me, if I have my way, everybody either would be rich, everybody would have a decent wage, and would have decent jobs, or let's just say careers, because a job is a job, a career is a career. There's a big difference. A job is somebody that, you work this and you say, I'm just getting ill sick of this, 1 or 2 years out of this and I'm off to the races. No. And plus they don't, nowadays they don't give you much anyway. And on top of that, you only get tired in as a per diem and you don't get much work, or you've been working for some years and they just let you go, not because you did anything wrong, but they just let you go just because they can't afford you anymore, or the simple fact that they just don't have customers. They simply don't have customers. They let go of millions and millions of people, especially here in the state of Nevada. They unleashed 7 million plus people in the last couple of months, which is terrible because people need to work. Even I look at elderlies and I shake my head. I look at the elderlies and I just completely shake my head, and it's like, you're coming after Social Security, you're coming after SNAP, you're coming after all the benefits that these elderlies need. Because out of retirement, you only get like whatever it's worth, like say $1,300. I don't know. Maybe you can tell me what retirees make. And then they gotta go off and get like a job or something, working at Burger King or somewhere around there, just to have a little something in their pocket. It ain't the same as it used to be. It's not the same anymore. It is not the same. And I see these elderlies come in and out of work dragging, and just the way that they are, right? If you need a cane to come to work, that's ridiculous. And you're in your 60s and you need a cane to come to work when you should be sitting down and having a cold one or something, or threading or something and collecting them Social Security checks. It's ridiculous. Trump's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Well, Biden this and Biden that. I'm sorry. Biden's in office right now? I didn't know. Is Biden in office right now? I didn't know Biden was in office. Oh, he's not in office. You're telling me he's not in office? Oh, so the orange man is in office. Mr. Grab him by the coochie. If we need a Crockett, we need a Crockett now more than ever. And let me iterate when I say, I don't care if you're a Republican, a Democrat, or an independent. It's something about this woman. I can name all the accolades, but it is something to me spiritually. I hope I'm right. It's something spiritually that it says to me that she is the one that can get things right in this country, especially for the Black community. Now, will it happen overnight? No. Let's just say she won the presidency. Let's just say she ran and she won the presidency outright, right? Things that are in demand, I believe she's going to work to get things done. It may not happen overnight. It may not happen for the course of over 4 years, whether it be, trying to get back education from the Republicans and get these people into decent jobs or get them decent wages or get them in a actual career, which these young people need coming out of college, hell, coming out of high school. You used to have these particular trades, these school for trades for free. They're not for free anymore, but you have to get these people into a particular trade or have them become doctors, lawyers, because we don't have any, especially people who look like us. There aren't any. To me, there aren't any. Very, very few that look like us who are RNs. Very few who look like us who are, there's plenty of people who are CSNs or CNAs or whatever you call them. But RNs, registered nurses, we need those. Plumbers, we need those. Carpenters, we need those. Electricians, we need those. People who look like us, we need those, especially who look like us, that could change a damn tire. I don't know. You just need a spark, because right now it's just terrible. It's just terrible. It is terrible. Reese Waters.
Call it freedom. Oh, New Jersey?
The twist in this county and why I think it's so important is Morris County.
We freeing you from this campaign.
I gotta see this again.
See, I need a whole nother dragon to win some Sears. So you ain't gonna see that. She got her own dedicated situation. So just be on the lookout for that one.
4 years later, your electric bill is up and they call it freedom. 4 years later, they're taking your pro-children scholarships and giving it to biological males, and they call it freedom.
Wisdom on Stairs. We freeing you from this campaign. Yeah, they called the race. Why are you crying? Call it freedom! Call it freedom! Oh, New Jersey?
The twist in this county and why I think it's so important is Morris County is what Mikey Sherrill represents in Congress. She was the first Democrat to flip the district here in a long time when she won it in 2018. Is she getting an overperformance in her incredibly crucial home county tonight? Because this is one where Chitterelli cannot afford to underperform.
And Steve, just very quickly, just to remind people, this is the third time Jack Chitterelli has run for governor.
The third time? The Buffalo Bills of New Jersey.
We want freedom. You got to be dumb to be free. That's why they call it freedom. Oh boy. Well, unless there's something else, there's not much to report on nowadays. But other than the Officer Tatums of the world, who has absolutely positively lost his mind with the whole Israel thing. And oh, by the way, Mayweather, you have definitely lost your marbles. You have definitely lost your marbles. He went over there just praising the hell out of the what's his face over there. It's crazy. Don't know what you're getting into. You do not know what you do. That's like praising another Hitler to me. But you act like, why do niggas,
Okay. Really?
why do niggas act like Christians? That's what I want to know. Why do niggas act like so many fucking Christians nowadays? That just explain to me that. You come over here, you act a damn fool, but you go over there and you want to act all cool. God will find a way because I have to treat you the exact same way that you treat me. You treated us with the utmost respect. And then you start crying even though they spit on you and they call you a nigger right in front of your face. You obviously take that. It was just one person. Huh? If I go to France and a Frenchman spits in my face, I'm knocking him out. Straight up. If I go to France and a Frenchman spits in my face, I'm knocking him out. Now, granted, I wouldn't go like to Dubai or whatever and start acting a fool there. No, I know the rules, right? But I ain't gonna let nobody spit or do anything crazy into my face. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. No, I mean, there wasn't much going on. Wasn't much going on at all except for early voting. But when I seen this, like I said, when I seen it, I just thought I'd just go to it and make comments on it. But you will definitely see me again, We-On-Loc Nation / Jasmine Crockett / We Don't Care. Look for the merch coming soon. Definitely coming soon. Same lingo. Jasmine Crockett / We Don't Care. Because if people think what's we don't care part. The we don't care part is for those who just flat out disrespect Jasmine Crockett, and especially the white folk. Especially the white folks, and for those black individuals included in that. So saying that, ghetto, she's calling her ghetto, calling her, she doesn't do anything she doesn't do anything for her district, and she got her seat, and then one of the reasons why she got her seat taken away from her, and blah 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 blah, and all this other stuff. And I'm like, okay, so you have no problems spouting off at the mouth about her, but look what Donald Trump is doing, and you don't hold him nowhere near accountable. Nowhere near accountable. And it's quite disgusting. And the fact that she calls it out just the way that it is. Now, Lisa and others have proved to me that others had called out white supremacy. Not like this woman, not how this woman has done it. To me, it's pretty like how my mother and my grandmother called me out. It called me by my full name whenever I effed up. My mother called me by my full name. I'm not going to give you my full name, but both my grandmother, before she became sweet and kind and all gentle and wouldn't hurt a fly, per se, she got that switch. This is what Jasmine Crockett is capable of doing. She's grabbing the switch and She just get listen, you fucking up. You fucking up too. Get your ass over here. You fucking up. That's the type of thing that I want. You know who else resembled that? Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama did that exact same thing. Barack, not too much. Not too much. I mean, he got minus the grade when the white woman came up to him his first term and started wagging in his face. I open up big. Think you talking to? I'm the president of the United States. Well, we want to get soft in America. We want to get soft. But look what Trump is doing. Trump, he don't give a shit. He don't give a shit. He's sending the military troops to your city and raising ICE. He's sending ICE to your city to cause havoc. And they proclaim that we stopped crime. You know, you're inventing. You're basically the thing that happened before in America, before all the laws, all the Pacific laws in America came to fruition, like the Crimes Act and let's just read it. I do know we need to get rid of the Dred Scott case. I do know that for certain. I do know that for certain. So just to give a quick point of what I'm talking about, and of course we have free speech in this country due to the Supreme Court justices, the Supreme Court laws, and all the cases that have been spewed throughout the years. I just want to give a quick point. Due processes, free speech, lawsuits. I don't want to do lawsuits. Government agencies, power of Congress, abortion and production rights. I mean, it's a whole bunch of them. Gun rights and gun control, definitely. Equal right and protection. We had equal right and protection of the law. Equal right and protection of the law. Equal right, equal protection, Supreme Court cases. Equal protection clause of the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution provides that no state may deny to any persons within jurisdiction. My bad, not judicial jurisdiction. I was going too fast, but anyway, the equal protection under the jurisdiction and equal protection under the law. While the 14th Amendment appeals only, while the 14th Amendment applies only to the state, courts have determined the equal protection principles implicitly apply to the federal government as well. Over time, courts have developed three general tiers of scrutiny, for reviewing equal protection challenges. I'm just going to skip down to there, and I'm going to name the cases that have been involved equally protection, arranged from the newest to the oldest. I don't know why we're going from the newest to the oldest, but here it is. For example, America or United States versus Schemetry. I can't even pronounce that. And that's authored under John Roberts. What's a familiar one that we're familiar with? What's a familiar one? It can't be Fisher versus the University of Texas. We're not familiar with that. Or Bush versus Gore. U.S. versus Virginia. I'm not familiar with either one of these. Craig versus Barham, 1776. Not familiar. Not familiar with that. But like I said, there are plenty of ones that need to be studied, need to be analyzed, and need to be taken seriously. They need to be studied, all of these laws, but the laws you're familiar with, of course. The laws you are familiar with. But let me go back to this and we'll be all finished. Because like I said, it wasn't too much going on today. Wasn't too much going on at all. So we can always go to an oldie but goodie.
About somebody pretending to be from a rough area is to talk like that. You know, you gotta appreciate Megyn Kelly because she don't make you dig too far to dump on her. She really don't.
Compared to where she's actually from, it's quite a different picture. Where she's actually from is a beautiful, well-manicured area for the elite and highly educated. Here is a clip from Benny's report.
This is where Jasmine Crockett went to school. It's called the Mary Institute at St. Louis Country Day School. It's one of the most prestigious institutions in the entire country, also one of the most expensive.
So let me get this straight. We can simultaneously attack Jasmine Crockett for being low IQ and being too educated and fake ghetto. Ooh, the obsession is wild. I could get it if it was hair related, especially you, Megyn Kelly, because I think that. I could get it if it was hair related, because I don't know what she did with that CNN interview, but that was fire. But the obsession is just so ill-fitting, but so appropriate.
Like, I'm gonna just call a thing a thing. Like, this administration is racist. That he has always been a racist, and that is what we are enduring in this country. Let me give you some facts behind this racism, and they get mad when I say the things that I say, but I will not stop speaking the truth. Number one, I said that what we were experiencing in this country felt like what I would imagine slave patrols to look like. And frankly, anybody that knows anything about slave patrols, this is exactly what it was like. We're talking about lawless people that are going around with no warrants or anything, and it's all about rounding people up and disappearing them. That is what's currently taking place. And interestingly enough, even though modern day policing was born out of slave patrols.
What? Oh, y'all didn't know? Yeah, I did a whole video about that back in the day. When it comes to the history of police in America, it turns out KRS-One was right. Well, kind of. Now, back when the United States was still a series of colonies, you remember that, policing in what would become our country was based on the law enforcement systems in European countries, relying heavily on citizen volunteers, as well as watch groups, constables, sheriffs, and an early precursor to the militia system. However, in southern colonies, formal slave patrols were created as early as 1704, originating in the Carolinas. These patrols had one mission and one mission only: to establish a system of terror and squash slave uprisings with the capacity to pursue, apprehend, and return runaway slaves to their owners. Yeah, I think she watched it. She ain't watch it. But y'all should.
When I was speaking with one of my friends who is a federal law enforcement officer, he told me that one of the things that he has observed is that the culture is created at the top. And when I think about it, it absolutely makes sense. If you have somebody at the top that will not tolerate the types of things that we're seeing, then maybe those under you won't do it. But we know that we have a racist at the top. He has called himself the head law enforcement agent in this country, and therefore everybody has decided that it is okay to take off their hoods and mask up as ICE agents. Now, we've talked about how they have hidden themselves, but again, it reminds me of the Klan. That is why I proposed the Clear ID Act, to make them identify themselves, because it is dangerous for law enforcement as well as individuals, because you don't know, especially with ICE going around and doing the things that thugs do.
Now, it may sound like hyperbole, what she's saying, but why don't you take a look at the Department of Labor's new social media campaign and tell me whether or not what she's saying is hyperbole. These are the images from the Department of Labor. Yeah, I sense a theme. Pastels. It's just a lot of pastel use there. That was it.
They're busting out windows. They're breaking into homes. They're breaking people's arms. This doesn't sound like law enforcement. It sounds like thuggery to me.
I don't know, y'all. You tell me.
I can videotape. I'm a combat back. I'm a combat back. Then what is it, a cop? Are you a cop? Are you ICE or a cop? Hey, are you ICE or a cop? Suerte, señora. Suelta a la niña. 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 Get up, get up, get up, get up. Get up, get up.
But just like you can have somebody at the top that sets the tone for ugliness going down, you guys are blessed, because in the city of Chicago, you have a mayor. You have a mayor that has decided that he will not back down. He will not bend to this administration. And instead, he will stand up for the people. You have a man of valor that is going up against a villain. And I think that we have to make sure, especially while we're in his city, that we recognize his leadership, because it is invaluable. Now, some people think that this is all about Chicago, but I want people to understand that this cancer is infecting us everywhere. And if you don't think that it can come to your city, well, I've got news for you.
Now, I'm definitely not going to be caught slipping, because they've already come to my city in Washington, D.C. And just in case you were wondering why exactly,
that is in violation of the 8th Amendment that is being handed out. And honestly, it's a spit in the face of every American that we have an actual convicted felon that feels aggrieved to the extent that he feels like he's owed hundreds of millions of dollars when people are literally dying under our watch. Recently, I just sent a letter, it looks like on October 22nd, to Kristi Noem. And one of the things that I laid out is that we have seen the most detainee deaths in ICE custody in a single year in decades, with 20 deaths in the last 9 months compared to 24 deaths in the past prior 4 years.
Now, usually, it used to be that each and every time, like say, how Ifa Tunde, Umar Johnson, as you would call him, anybody, any and everyone who made a video, a discouraging video about Umar, I would fry their asses, and I still will. With Jasmine, it's a bit different because this is all political. Well, let me stop lying. It's basically the same thing. It's basically the same shit. She's this, she's that, she's, everything but child of God, because she doesn't do anything. She just talks a whole bunch of rubbish. And I go, who the hell are you? But when it comes to facts in this country, the fact that she was spitting about the slave patrol / ICE, she was actually spitting facts on that. There's a particular person who I used to like. Not anymore, because apparently she has tasted sweet glory in her own little way. Plus, of course, money was involved. Okay, all right. I'll talk to you later. Of course, money is always a benefactor. And the judge that used to be a judge ain't a judge no more. I don't know where Judge Joe Brown's mind went, but his mind went shoosh. And now he's going after what I've heard other judges. He went after the Judge Mathis. He went after Judge Mathis. I don't know what the hell's going on in this world today, but if we're participating in a new age as old as we are, and if we are participating, especially the baby boomers are participating in a 13-year-old act, and we're in your 79 years old, it's crazy. So let's see. Is it the real Dana? I'm not sure. I don't know if it's yep, it is the real Dana. It is the real Dana. So I guess she made some type of scandalous video about Jasmine Crockett, which I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with this woman. I really don't know, and I really don't care. I thought, being a black man and a black woman in this country, we had seen enough. We have obviously totally have seen enough, and we would do any and everything to fight for each other, but instead we're still fighting against one another, and it's crazy. It's crazy work. Let's see. Yeah.
To the fundraiser because it helps champion
put any policies forward that has to do with Black women and Black America, period. So she is not going to be remembered.
What?
Critique, that's portrayal. Jasmine Crockett ain't the
Black woman issue he's got to deal with. But
for those who are listening, that was Stephen A. Smith commentating about Jasmine Crockett's lack of work. For context, there was a poll that was recently done, and Jasmine Crockett's approval numbers amongst the American people rival Barack Obama's in 2008. So just for context, he is on an island unto himself because people see her largely working on our behalf.
Yeah, and that's not true. I highly doubt that her numbers are polling on the same level as Barack Obama when he first ran for office, even his second term. Now, amongst Democrats, yeah, but amongst American people in general, no. And thank you for this repping, because he says, Lady Crockett was an amazing young lady when she first came on the scene. We're not feeling ghetto Crockett now. And that's exactly how she is portraying herself, as ghetto. And it's unnecessary. So Willie D responded on on Instagram. I thought I put it here on X. Oh yeah, I could share this here then. So Willie D posted this on his Instagram, coming after Stephen A. Smith. And I do have some words for Willie D. He says, Stephen A. Smith taking shots at Jasmine Crockett ain't just messy, it's weak. Dude is sitting on one of the biggest mics in America. And instead of using it to uplift, he's tearing down a Black woman who's out here putting in real work. This ain't critique, that's portrayal. Jasmine Crockett ain't the problem. She's the kind of woman who walks into the room of snakes and makes the snakes flinch. Meanwhile, Stephen's showing us what happens when the paycheck gets louder than the principal. That's sucker shit, straight up. And trust me, 50 years from now, when folks this era, Jasmine Crockett's name going to be in the book next to the fighters, the truth tellers, the ones who shook the system. Stephen A., history don't reward the ones who made noise. It rewards the ones who made a difference. Sir, Jasmine Crockett has not made a difference. We are not going to remember Jasmine Crockett in 50 years, because you know what? Jasmine Crockett is most likely going to get voted out of Congress next year, because Texas did a whole bunch of redistricting in Texas. So the Republicans control Texas House, even in Congress.
Her name she goes by the real Dana. And she's basically kissed the ass of not only the Republican side, but she is also kissing FBA ass. So I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this to the actual real Dana, because I actually spoke to her. I've spoken with her before, and by God, she has them big ass lips is brown than a motherfucker. I'm just gonna tell you that straight up. They are straight up brown, because she has turned a whole corner. I'm telling you straight up. Now, there are certain things that I will agree, and there are certain things I'm just gonna straight up disagree when it comes to what Black people need in this country, and that's stability, and that's, certain standards. It's just the only reason why she's irrelevant is because of Judge Joe Brown and his expertise. That's the only reason. That is the only reason. Togetherness. We got a long way to go for togetherness, because you got too many cult groups going on, because they all defend for themselves. You got FBA, you got first you had Adolf's African descendants of slaves. And then you have now that Therese started this whole nonsense of we know our lineage, but we don't trace it through blood. We trace it through paperwork. How the fuck? Ooh. How in the hell are you going to trace your lineages back to the 1800s through paperwork? Where does paperwork usually, how do you usually get the paperwork? It's through blood transfusions. Not blood transfusion, but you do blood. They take your blood, take your DNA. I don't know how, what is that agency? What is that agency called? Ancestry.com. I don't know how they do it, but it's through DNA. It's through your blood. It ain't through paper, not just paperwork. Foundational, more like phony Black Americans.
Congress, even on a state level, and they literally drove all types of lines through her district. And she's going to have to battle it out with 2 other Democrats. So we're not going to remember Jasmine Crockett in 50 years. The only thing we're going to remember, she was a loud ghetto woman, Black woman.
There it is. There it is. I mean, the jealousy is real. But as I stated before, you want to put it in the chat for me? Jasmine Crockett / we don't care. We don't give a flying polluted ego fuck how you feel. Jasmine Crockett / we don't care. We just do not care.
That stood for illegals, immigrants, transgender women, and LGB, and everything else in the alphabet. Jasmine Crockett has never fought, championed, put any policies forward that has to do with Black women and Black America, period.
But yet, what has your Black ass done? Now, I will say this. I'm not for all that LGBTQ, HIV, whatever they got going over there. That's one of the lesser evils. The immigrants are going to come in this country whether you want them to or not. Whether they're from Cuba, Mexico, Jamaica, Haiti, Africa, whatever. They're going to come in this country. But as soon as their foot hits the soil, due to our 14th Amendment rights, they have rights under the law to be in this country. They just have to follow the rules like everybody else. They're going to come in this country whether you want them to or not. That's just basically what it is. Now, if you're after Jasmine, after some, I would love for this knucklehead to debate. Just debate Jasmine. Go ahead and debate her. Don't be talking shit. Just debate her. It's too much like right. Let's have a healthy, debatable conversation. Let's have a debatable conversation. But then again, nah, you're doing the devil's work, in my humble opinion. Of course you wouldn't stand a chance. Of course you wouldn't stand a chance. Half these knuckleheads around here couldn't stand a chance. Even the four gentlemen, the four I would call the 4 horse shits. I think their name is I can't even get their names right. The Kennedys, they call themselves the Kennedys or some shit. I don't know.
So she's not going to be remembered. I was going to play Willie D's response. And I don't want to, because Willie D, he's a sucker. And I wanna break down a little bit of
now Willie D's a sucker. Willie D's a sucker all because she wait, let me get this straight. Willie D's a sucker all because he called out Stephen A. Smith in this bullshit. Because Stephen A. Smith called out Jasmine Crockett. Not only did he call out Jasmine Crockett, he called out Oprah, he called out Michelle Obama, he called out Kamala Harris. I guess either he has an issue with black women, or he's trying to persuade them and have them put themselves in position where they need to be. And I was like, you don't have a foothold in that. You don't tell people where they need to be. And I go, who the stick to sports. Stick to sports. And everybody was telling this nigga, stick to sports, stick to sports. It's like, you ain't, and don't let me have to play Kitty Rose again. Do not have me to play Kitty Rose again. Kitty Rose, I haven't seen that many views in months, years. I have not seen that many. Jesus, it's almost a 500,000 at this point. I have not seen that many views. I did a shorts on that, and I haven't seen that many views. It's like, damn. It's like these people really want Stephen A. Smith to get canceled. But according to Dana, Willie D's now a sucker. Hot damn. Talk about togetherness.
Of Willie D. And maybe I will, maybe I will bring it up.
Here's what this heifer look like.
His clips. Woody, let me share this again. Oh no, I can't share it on here. Can I?
That's what that heifer look like.
Yeah, I gotta make it smaller.
Her flagging me.
Oh no. What if I make it bigger? No? All right. Stephen A. Smith latest rant on Jasmine Crockett is wild. He called her rhetoric for the streets because she got at Greg Abbott. But when Trump called her a lowlife, he went quiet as a church mouse. How does this type of love Trump? Because he says what he's on his mind, whatever. So let me pull up Tamika Mallory. I meant to open up two spaces. Because now Tamika Mallory, actually, I'm going to hold off on Tamika Mallory for a minute.
Damn, now you got a problem with Tamika? Oh, both of them whoop. I hope both of them whoop your ass. Oh, Dana, you sticking out like a sore thumb. Let the woman be, because you are no match for her intellect. You are no match for her intelligence. Just let the shit go. Just let it go.
Let's go back and focus on Willie D ass. And maybe I will just pull up his clip, bro. Democrat plantation, liberal lovers. But let me just tell y'all a little bit about Willie D. Willie D is from the rap group The Ghetto Boys from way back in the day. And the hit that I'm familiar with is My Mom Playing Tricks on Me, which was about drugs, which was their music was basically toxicity. Now, Ghetto Boys, the star of the Ghetto Boys was Scarface, then the midget, then...
Hold on. I know you ain't about to take a shit on the Ghetto Boys. A badass rap group from back in the day. I know you are not about to take a shit on the Ghetto Boys. Hold on.
Nobody paid him no mind. Scarface was the star. Scarface had better lyrics.
So?
But they did promote toxic music. And I get it, because you have a right to practice your freedom of speech. But that is why people like Willie D is okay with toxic behavior, because that's the environment he came from and he never grew out of. That is what he's familiar with, and that is what he accepts.
That's a strong man
Luke
argument.
Campbell too. Because Luke was on X all last year during the election just talking nonsense, and he just sounds like he got a pile of shit on both sides of his mouth. Talking shit and you got shit in your mouth. He's another idiot. He did push toxic music, and his behavior on and off the camera.
Yet you didn't have a problem shaking your ass in high school. Please shut the fuck up with that shit. They had no problem shaking your ass in high school when they went to I think it was not Supreme Court. It was civil court, and they won that bitch. All right, because of their First Amendment right to say whatever the hell they wanted to say, and they won that bitch. And you hating on the Ghetto Boys, you hating on Luke. Who else you hating on?
Was toxic. Never listen to entertainers. And one thing I can say about Stephen A., who is he's a very articulate Black man. He has hired, champion, and support Black people in his field on and off the camera, right? But what has Willie D done for the community?
Kept your ass out of
Jasmine Crockett reminds him of his audience in his heyday. Toxic bullshit. So why do we care? When people sit up here, you want to cancel this Black man for exercising his freedom of press, freedom of speech, the same way you did with your corny ass rap.
Anything that gets you a buck, you're going to do it. Anything that gets you clicks and views, you're going to simply, I don't want to hear. You're going to simply go after the people that you can't stand, who they do not know you. They don't know you from a can of paint. They don't know who you are. But yet you're going to call them out because you need a click and a view. I get it. I totally get it. I don't like Stephen A. Smith all that much because he got his foot in and out the door. He's a capitalist. We know. I say one or two things about it and I'm done. I am completely done. But it's something to this. It's something to Jasmine Crockett that if they don't appeal to your intellect, it's more like a big fuck you. That's what I would call it. It's more like a big fuck you because you're appealing to, what you would call the slave plantation, what is not absolutely the case, because she's the first person that actually called out white supremacy the way she calls it out. Right? But if it's not benefiting you economically, individually, you don't give a shit. So this is what you do. You call out people that you shouldn't be calling out in your own personal gain. You and that flunky, you and that phony Judge Joe Brown, which ain't a judge no more. He's a shell of himself. I don't know what the hell happened to him. He's gone. He's just gone. He stood for something. Now he don't stand for shit no more. He called Jasmine out too. I think he called her a slut or something. I don't know. But I had to go through the video. She's a slut. And she doesn't do anything for the people. She's nothing. It's like, nigga, get a clue. Nigga, get a fucking clue. Nobody listens to you anymore. Nobody listens to you. Nobody listens to your influences. Nobody gives a shit whether you. I don't even want to say that. I don't even want to say what I really want to say. Because you have completely given up. You and Dana want to act like the goddamn cotton wigs. That's why she has her hair permed all like that. She wants to be like them fucking gay ass white boys. Isn't it so true and imminent as we give the laws of the lands of the white peoples and the gays, the trans, and the benefits, and the 13th and 14th Amendments, and you want to act just like them. You want to act just like these French white cotton wigs who absolutely, positively gave you their version of the Constitution. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Ain't no life, liberty, and the super happiness. There's a life, liberty, and a super property, which you were back then. And you're still considered property. Never mind your Social Security, never mind your licenses, and never mind your bonds. Oh, because that's specifically what they do, and they put you in a certain book. They put you in a certain book. They put your name in a certain book when you're first born. Ask when they used to take your foot. They used to take the baby's foot and they stamp it onto that onto your doggone it, what was it? They stamped it on something. That was your bond. That Social Security, your Social Security is just like your license. They have why do you think they have like a little small barcode on? And you don't even know that you have money in your estate, and you never knew it all along. You have money in your estate all along. You never even knew it. All these years, because of your estate, because you have been put in a specific certain book, you don't know that you had or have possibly over $1 million in your estate. You have to know who you are. You have to know who you are. And most of these people are fucking scared. Most of these people are scared to tap into their Social Security and figure. I mean, this is another laugh for a different day. The point of the fact of the matter is they're scared of Jasmine. They're really jealous, or they're really scared of Jasmine Crockett. And we're supposed to be together on this, not separate. It's just disgusting at this point. It's disgusting. She's disgusting. Judge Joe Brown is disgusting. Willie D, I hope you get her video and start frying.
The lyrics, Willie D, talking about drugs, talking about shooting, killing, calling women bitches in your songs. And that is why Jasmine Crockett resonates with the streets, because that is where he's from. And that really never leaves a lot of people. The difference is Jasmine Crockett is not from the streets. She is pretending to be ghetto, pretending to be all of the negative stereotypes that Black women have tried to not be associated with. But Jasmine Crockett is pulling and she currently is pulling Black women under that umbrella of mammyism because of her behavior. You are a congresswoman. You could be tough. You could be to the point. You could be stern. You know, you could be about your business and still be professional. We all know how you feel about Trump. We know how the Democrats feel about Trump. We know how a lot of Black politicians that are Democrats feel about Trump. Well, what are you going to do about it? Where's the work? Black politicians from the 60s and 70s, that Adam Clayton Powell's, even Shirley Chisholm, stern, fought for their constituents. But they wasn't cussing and doing all this street shit. You leave street shit in the street.
So calling Donald Trump out for his ignorance is street shit. What works is what works. To be perfectly honest, if we want to be honest, what works is what works. But now you're calling it street shit. But what about but you're trying to hold her accountable, but why not hold Donald Trump to the same standard? You're not doing that, and you don't want to do it because you know this makes you views, this makes you money. And speaking of views and clicks, again, this is a hobby to me. To you, this is straight. This ain't work to you. This is straight criticism. Criticism on a little bit of head, not a little bit of head swiveling. A 10%, I would call this 10% of head swiveling and cussing them out a little bit. And he did more cussing. He did more cussing and carry on for Elon Musk than he did with Donald Trump. Because if we had not forgotten, Donald Trump got endorsed by who? Elon. Another billionaire trying to turn himself trillionaire, but let me not call that out. Because his wannabe South white African ass, and by the way, I don't know where you get these white South Africans from. We ought to start doing DNA tests, because I never heard of a white South African before. But that's here nor there. You want to criticize her because of how she talks to people. How should she talk to you? Because apparently she's not getting anything done. Apparently you have not been around her for you to analyze and to pick up on what she has gotten done. Otherwise, she wouldn't be making money. Otherwise, people wouldn't be interviewing at such a dramatic rate. Otherwise, Donald Trump wouldn't be threatening her, wouldn't be coming after her and AOC. Did you forget that? Do you forget that how many times that Donald Trump has attacked Jasmine Crockett? She has attacked Jasmine Crockett more than AOC. She has attacked Jasmine Crockett more than I forgot her fucking name. Michelle Obama and all these other people. She has gotten attacked more for how she speaks and what she speaks about. But yet the criticism about this woman is on an all-time high. But yet you're going to give me a woman in Sears who had just lost because of how she spec. And you want me to vote for a woman like that? You want me to vote for a woman who has no pride, who has no juice, who has no swag, who has no. I'm not saying that she's not intelligent. I'm not saying that she integrity. Jasmine Crockett has all that and more. And like I said, there is something about, we don't care. There is something about Jasmine Crockett that people do not like about her. Can anybody in the chat tell me what is it about this woman that people like this piece of shit and this other piece of shit in Judge Joe Brown, what they do not like? It's quite crazy to me. It is really quite crazy. But I just forgot. Just this past weekend, I heard Kamala Harris, that's her name. I just heard Kamala Harris cuss up a storm and talk shit about Donald Trump like everybody else has that right to talk about Donald Trump. She was cussing up a storm, talking about motherfucker and this is I gotta find that shit. I gotta find that fucking shit. Cause it was a joy to hear. It was a fucking joy to hear. Let me continue with this, broad.
You don't bring that to work. And if you want to be street-like in the boardroom, that is a different behavior. If you want to bring the streets to Congress, that is a different behavior. Politicians are ruthless. Congress is ruthless no matter what party affiliation. These people are ruthless.
Your point?
They're ruthless in heels, red bottom heels, and suits.
Your point?
She's displaying street ruthlessness with a bonnet on and a robe, talking shit out her project window. That's what she's giving us. So this clown up here identifies
with
a bonnet
and a project robe,
because that was part of his audience in his damn heyday with the Ghetto Boys. Stephen Jackson, he's taking shots at Stephen A. Smith because Serena Williams' husband came on ESPN and it's like, oh, you don't got no smoke for the white man, but you got smoke for black women. Sit your black ass down, Stephen Jackson. Because you the same nigga.
Are you fucking kidding me?
That got up on all these podcasts since 2020 talking about how you was crying like a bitch because you stood up your fiance at the altar on wedding day. As if that's a flex.
Stephen Jackson, Willie D, Tamika Mallory. You got the green light to go after the real Dana. You have the green light. You have the green motherfucker. I'll come back. And I'll come back with my own rant sometime this week. And anybody else who wants to smoke, because like I said, we don't care. We do not care. But I do like this. I do like this shit. Just check this out. Big ups to Kamala. Big ups to Kamala.
Are you fucking kidding me? This guy wants to create a ballroom for his rich friends while completely turning a blind eye to the fact that babies are going to starve when the SNAP benefits end in just hours from now? Come on. So I'm not going to be distracted by, does the guy have a big hammer? What about those babies?
But you didn't go after her either. You didn't go after her. Let me see if I can find. Oh shit! Hold on. This is the interview.
Listen, relationships are complicated.
And what? Because that to me is fascinating because I
What people are working with in terms of information.
the voters that they're targeting that
This
the
is
idea
a
that
lot.
canvassing.
Let's see. This is a lot, but when I seen that shit, I was like, yo, she done turned the corner. She done turned the fucking corner. Let me see. Look at 2024. This is want to break down this. I had to find the shit. I had to find the fucking shit. Joints. What America should know. Nah. I ain't trying to go through all that. That's a boatload. But I just want it. There we go.
Babies are gonna speak. This guy wants to create. You fucking kidding me? You fucking kidding me? This guy wants to create a ballroom for his rich friends, while completely turning a blind eye to the fact that babies are gonna starve when the SNAP benefits end in just hours from now. Come on. So what? I'm not gonna be distracted by. Oh, does the guy have a big hammer? What about those babies?
You know what? This is We-On-Loc Nation. I'm out. See you on the next video. That was crazy. That's crazy.